Oos. UFC 194, Aldo versus McGregor, December 12th, Saturday, 2015. Alright, Jose Aldo versus Conor McGregor. This is going to be a great fight. A good stand-up striking matchup. Very, very good fight. Um, Aldo was supposed to face him back in July, I believe, and he had a injured rib, so he didn't take the fight. So they rescheduled it for December 12th. Um, as I said, this is gonna be a wicked matchup, and I'm gonna break down each one of these guys right now. So Jose Aldo, 25-1. Anybody that knows about Jose Aldo, you know, his bread and butter is his stand-up. So his background is in capoeira, and then he fuses it with Muay Thai, and he has a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So his stand-up is sound. He has great stand-up. His only loss he has was from a submission, but that was early in the game, I believe in 2005. So he's a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu. So I mean, as I said, you know, belt is just a color. Belt is what you use to hold your pants up. So you can be whatever belt you want. If you don't put the training in on a consistent basis, it doesn't matter what belt you're wearing. Don't get me wrong, a black belt is to show your ranking from the other belts. A black belt is supposed to be you're on that high level now, the top of the food chain now. You have a black belt, you should have all this knowledge and these skills. But as I said, there are black belts out there who, when they get the black belt, they don't train anymore, or they feel like, oh, I'm a black belt now, so I just automatically gonna be able to have my techniques and skills. It doesn't work like that. If you don't consistently train, regardless of black belt or whatever, you're not gonna be as good. You're not gonna have that skill level, that skill set, because you don't train. You have to train on a consistent basis. Even if you have a black belt or you don't have a black belt, you have to train. And that's why I said color is just an illusion. It's just something, just as I said, to boost your confidence level and make you feel good. But the real deal is getting out there and putting the work in. That's the real deal. So as Jose Aldo, as I said, his ground game, he has ground game. He has defense, scrambling, get back to his foot. So he should be okay on the ground. As I said, his bread and butter is going to be his striking. So that's straightforward, that Muay Thai, kicking to the legs, knees, elbows, stay in the pocket, get the clinching. He also counter strikes going backwards when he wants to. When he feels pressure, he will start going backwards and counter striking. But most of the time, he pressures and come forward and deliver elbows and knees and leg kicks. He try to break you down with the leg kicks. That's mostly what he does, is breaks you down with the kicks to the legs. All right, so that's basically Jose Aldo. And most of the time you see he kicks and spinning kicks, and he switch up the movements, fast in the foot. A lot of that comes from his capoeira. So he just infuses it again, as I said, with the Muay Thai and then the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for the ground. So he's a very well-rounded fighter, very complete. His footwork, his movement, he has good footwork. He circles around, lateral movement, side to side. He doesn't just keep running back. He cut corners. Sometimes he gets flat-footed. Sometimes, he's not on his toes anymore, and that's when I think most of the time when he's pressuring forward and committing to the strikes by staying in the pocket. So he's looking to trade. Sometimes he sits on the punches and the kicks and just looking to trade, trying to get a knockout, because that's what he usually does, is, a power striker. He chops it down with a leg kick, hit you with the elbow, hit you with flying knee, so that's mostly his game. He sometimes sits on his punches and kicks, but he does move around when he's gonna counter, going backwards or lateral movements. He's gonna use his footwork, but most of the time he sits in front of you and strike. So that's basically Jose Aldo. Okay, now on my way to Conor McGregor. All right, Conor McGregor, 17-2. His background: he has a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and he practices Taekwondo, Capoeira, Karate, and also boxing. So I think he started out with boxing, and then from there he started doing Karate, Taekwondo, Capoeira, and so forth. So as far as his stand-up goes, his stand-up was pretty good too. He has very excellent stand-up, very elusive. His movement, his in and out movement is very elusive. His doesn't really sit too much on the punches and the kicks. He's always looking for that knockout and always pressuring forward. He's always coming forward, but he comes forward with style, with a rhythm. He doesn't just walk to you. He moves to you with a flow, with a bounce, a hop to it, while landing the shots. He throws a lot of spinning back kicks, a lot of Moashigari, roundhouse, a lot of front kicks. But what people don't know, he's actually using the kicks to set up for his punches. So his punches is what you should look out for. But the kicks are dangerous too. He can finish you off with the kicks. But his punches is what he usually finishes most of the fights with. So that's basically Conor McGregor. He's excellent footwork, always moving. He has that nice in and out, nice circular motion. He just doesn't sit down on the punches and the kicks. So he also will counter strike you too, by going backwards and counter strike. And also he will counter strike you coming forward too. But he mostly just gonna pressure, and that's what makes him dangerous, because he doesn't back down. He just keep coming forward, but he comes forward with a style to it, with a rhythm to it, and counters coming forward inside. Jose Aldo sometimes will go on the retreat and then just continuously move backwards to disengage. But Conor McGregor just keeps coming forward, pressures with kicking, punches, kicking, mix up the both of them, and that's what makes Conor McGregor dangerous, because of that. So that's the thing about this fight now. Jose Aldo, as I said, he's a good fighter. And Conor McGregor is a good fighter too. But if I'm gonna make a prediction on this fight, who would I go with? I'm gonna go with Conor McGregor on this one. I must say Conor McGregor will win this fight. I forgot to mention about McGregor's ground game. He has 2 losses from submission. So as far as his ground game goes, I want to say it's kind of even to Jose Aldo in a sense. Jose Aldo lost one time to the ground. He got submitted too. So it's slightly kind of even in a sense. Both of them just use the ground to defense, kind of, to scramble and get back to the foot so that they could strike. So both of them not really looking for submission really, which Conor McGregor has one submission. But as I said, from Conor McGregor's last fight with Mendes, he showed that his ground game has gotten better, because he scrambled and got back to his foot. He defended against Mendes' takedowns, and when he got taken down and he was in a bad position that he was in, he got back up to his foot and ended the fight. So he proved himself, well, against a good wrestler as Mendes. to that his ground game has improved over the years. So as far as McGregor's ground game, I think his ground game should be okay. He's going to be good on the ground. There shouldn't be a problem. If he gets taken down, he's going to just scramble and get back to his foot. Or he might just defend against Jose's takedown. Because I think Jose Aldo might try to take him down. Or even might try to pressure for submission. He might look to submit Conor McGregor. So look out for that also. Don't get me wrong, Jose Aldo has a chance too. He has a great chance of knocking out Conor McGregor. As I said, it's a MMA fight, and cage fighting is a sport, it's a game. So anyone that comes in good condition and train their ass off, has a great chance. So all those are great chance, but for my prediction, I'm gonna say Conor McGregor, and this probably look like it's not gonna go all 5 rounds. I'm gonna say this is gonna end in the 3rd round, and it's gonna end by knockout. So Conor McGregor will knock out Jose Aldo. That's just my prediction. And as I said, Jose Aldo, definitely can finish off Conor McGregor too. So, that's just how, the game goes. Everybody has a chance of winning, I'm going to talk about the build-up, the hype up to this fight. There's a lot of controversy, a lot of trash talking, and the mental aspect of each opponent, can play a factor. Conor McGregor, he talks a lot. He's very cocky, very arrogant guy. He has a lot to say, man. He talks trash about everybody. But, he talks in all this crap and all this trash, but he seems to back it up every time. So, that's the good thing, that he's talking all this crap and he backs it up. So, that right there, as I said, the trash talking, you can go back to other sports like WWE, WWF, wrestling. As I said, you gotta, do a little acting. You gotta sell your tickets. You gotta get people interested. And what are people interested in? In the hype, the build-up of the fight. Because that's how he's gonna make his money. That's how you're gonna get people to come and pay the money to watch you. So if you're just, a great fighter, but you have no personality, you don't really talk much, people are gonna be like, oh, he's a good fighter, but you're just looking just to see a fight. But if you can talk a good game and sell the crowd and sell tickets and have people like, oh man, I'm so excited to see this fight, man. This guy talking all this crap. He's just dissing up this guy, dissing up other people in other weight classes, and this guy is a badass. I wanna go see him. That's the way you're gonna make money, because it's a business. At the end of the day, UFC, it's a business, and that's how they make the money. They make the money not only from you fighting, but the acting aspect of it, like WWE, WWF. Most of the time, the fighters are not really like that. They're just putting on a front, putting on a show, so they can make their money. A prime example, like Lyoto Machida, which I respect, as a martial artist. He's a good fighter, a great martial artist, but personality-wise, it's not really there. He doesn't really talk trash. Very disciplined, which I'm for. But in this society we live in now, everybody loves drama. They love that trash talking, excitement, build up to the fight. So if you have a guy like Conor McGregor that that can, spit that trash talking and get his opponents hyped up and get in their heads, and and get the crowd stirred up and excited, he's gonna make a lot of money, and everybody's gonna want to watch him. So that's what I'm talking about. As for Jose Aldo, he doesn't really speak any English, So that's kind of might be a little downfall to him. So it's coming off as like Conor McGregor is like bullying him in a sense, verbally. And it makes Jose Aldo looks intimidated, like he's afraid. But as I said, when it comes to talking and trash talking, that's one thing. When it comes to actually fighting and showing what you really got, that's a different thing. So you can talk all you want, but when it comes to throwing the hands, it's a different thing. No, you're not talking anymore. It becomes physical with the hands. You can physical with the mouth and talk your trash. When it's time to come and show now, let's see if you got it. So that's why I'm saying, Conor McGregor always talk his trash, but he always backs it up. So we'll see how this fight goes. But my prediction, is gonna go with Conor McGregor, and it's not the fact because he's trash talking and he's getting into Jose Aldo's head. It's basically because of the skill set I'm looking at. In my opinion, coming from a martial arts background, I just see Conor's game, his technique, his movement, his elusiveness is going to be more superior to Jose Aldo. It's going to be too much for Jose Aldo to handle. That pressure with technique going forward, it's going to be too much for Jose Aldo to handle. And the fight's going to start out, kind of back and forward, kind of smooth going until the second, and then third is going to, I think Aldo is going to start breaking, and then that's when Conor is going to just take him apart. In my opinion, in my prediction, as I said, this fight can go both ways, so anything can happen. I could be wrong. Jose Aldo could just go in there and all the trash talking that Conor McGregor was talking, Jose Aldo just take all that in and like become into this fireball and just explode on him and just blow his head off, man. From a martial arts background, as myself, has been a martial artist for many years. Personality wise, I favor Jose Aldo. More calm, more disciplined, not really talking too much. I favor Jose Aldo. Conor McGregor on the other side, he's doing it differently. He's on a marketing, making numbers and and trash talking and proving himself, that he can trash talk and win the fights. As I said, Conor McGregor's act is just a way to get the crowd hype and to sell tickets, to make money, make the numbers. So sometimes you gotta behave a certain way, if you wanna make those kind of digits and have people coming towards you and noticing you. It's through verbally talking. And then when it comes to the fight, you gotta physically fight with your fists and your foot and your mind. So we'll see what happens. And I'm not choosing Conor McGregor because man, he's just my favorite fighter in the world, or Jose Aldo to me, personality wise and martial artist wise, is more towards my setting. But when I break this fight down and I view each person's prior fights, I have to be real with myself to say that Conor McGregor is going to win this fight. So it's not the fact of, who talks the most trash and who doesn't. It's just going off a fight set, the technique,